Welcome to The Power Within, the podcast that uncovers the real stories and strategies behind leadership and personal growth. I'm Keith Power, and in each episode, I sit down with inspiring individuals who faced challenges, built resilience, and discovered what it takes to lead with impact. Through their journeys, we'll explore the mindsets and tools that drive meaningful success. If you're ready to grow, lead, and unlock your true potential, you're in the right place. Marion Muller, known online as 𝐟𝐸𝐵𝐿𝐿, is a Swiss expat in Singapore whose journey from competitive figure skating to entrepreneurship reveals powerful lessons in resilience, adaptability, and self-leadership. Followed by more than 140,000 people across Instagram and TikTok, Marion has turned her candid storytelling into a successful business through sponsorships and partnerships, offering authentic insights into expat life and personal growth. In this episode of The Power Within, Marion shares how cultural adaptation, reinvention, and staying true to your voice can help us lead ourselves and others through change. Welcome, Marion.
Hi, Keith. Thank you so much for having me.
Let's begin with your journey. What first brought you to Singapore, and how did 𝐟𝐸𝐵𝐿𝐿 come to life?
Well, actually, my ex-boyfriend brought me to Singapore. I had just finished my master's in political science at University of Zurich, and he got a job offer in Singapore from his consultant company. And I said, this is perfect timing. I have all time of the world. I will find a good job in Singapore instead of just settling down in Zurich right away. And I said, yeah, let's go on an adventure. It was supposed to be 2 years and then go back to Zurich. I came to Singapore and I was super confident in finding a job at first. I wrote 65 applications and I could not even get a single interview. Trust me, I was so frustrated.
I bet.
There was a point, I don't know, I would work at 7-Eleven, but there was not even they would invite me for an interview. And since I had a lot of time and I was so fascinated about Singapore from day one, I always say I fell in love with Singapore the minute I arrived. I started an Instagram account just mainly to show my mom how much I loved chicken rice and what hawker centers are and what I was doing all day. So it was more of like a personal journal.
So your first followers were your friends and family in Switzerland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. And 𝐟𝐸𝐵𝐿𝐿, I had no concept behind this. This was a shower thought, like, okay, maybe today I could start an Instagram account. What could I name it? And because I'm from Switzerland, 𝐟𝐸𝐵𝐿𝐿 stands for Switzerland in SG, it means in Singapore. That was just a 1-minute decision.
So you didn't pay some agency $10,000 to come up with a great name?
No.
Okay.
I mean, everything was very, very spontaneous. And that's how 𝐟𝐸𝐵𝐿𝐿 was born. And in the beginning, it was literally just me posting videos about Singapore, no concept, no strategy. I also had no expertise. I had no clue what I was doing.
But it was fun because I'll share with our viewers how I know you is from being a follower. I used to follow, not from the very start, but quite close to the beginning. And I thought it felt so spontaneous, so natural. The love for Singapore was genuine, and you were uncovering places that expats go, but also where locals go. And I remember thinking, wow, this lady could make money doing this, and look at you now.
Yeah, I mean, everything snowballed quite fast from the beginning. When I still had so much time, I realized I do love creating these videos, and I started to do online research about the whole content creation industry. I did a course which was online, and I actually spent a lot of money on it. I spent $9,000 on this course, which felt like being back to uni. I had three to four times a week, I had online classes, and everything was about how to grow on social media, how to actually make this a business.
Okay.
And I think that was the best decision I could have ever done. I learned so fast. I also was held accountable for posting every single day. And I can really proudly say that from that moment on until today, I think I posted a video every single day for the past 2 years. And that was definitely also one of the reasons why I grew so fast. And I always say, especially when I work with clients, the videos that I produce and the content I post, it's not just some spontaneous idea that comes to my mind. Okay, I'm going to film a little bit and then, I'm going to edit and post. So everything has its reason and there's a strategy behind every video. And yeah, I think that turned out to be a good strategy.
I have to ask you, what happened to the boyfriend?
Well, the boyfriend and I didn't work out so well here in Singapore. We broke up after a year after we moved here. And right away, 3 months after we broke up, he went back to Switzerland. He didn't like Singapore.
And you did?
I loved it. That was not the reason why we broke up, but yeah, there was no reason for him to stay here anymore. And I, at that point, tried everything to be able to stay.
You started out as a competitive figure skater. How did that early discipline and resilience shape the way you tackle challenges today?
Being a competitive figure skater for almost 15 years definitely was the best life lesson and the best life school I could have had. I was so passionate about it. That was not like my parents never pushed me into this. So I trained 6 to 7 times a week and it was fully because I really wanted this. But of course, there are always days where you would rather just go out with your friends and play or just go to the cinema. But it really taught me to learn discipline. And I think the biggest lesson would be to handle setbacks and handle no's and handle disappointments. I was not very strong mentally. Like I was always super, super nervous. But that taught me for life that now I don't really know this feeling of being nervous anymore. Is it for a job interview? Is it for a podcast recording? Is it for anything in front of camera? Or for it going on a date, for example? I really never feel nervous anymore because if I compare to stepping on the ice, it's
pales into insignificance compared to that.
I really learned to handle rejection a lot. Being a figure skater was brutal. 13-year-old girls sabotaging each other, filling water in each other's skates so that they can't compete. It's like nothing you see in movies is fake. This is real life.
Right.
Yeah, it really taught me a lot for my life now. And I'm very grateful for every experience.
Do you skate for fun anymore?
I used to when I was back in Switzerland. I used to be part of a show group where we had a show during winter time. And it was especially great because my mom was doing the costumes. My brother was singing and playing the guitar.
Oh.
So that was really filled with just lots of positive energy and not that competitive.
Which is great to fall back to sometimes. Moving from Switzerland to Singapore must have been a huge cultural shift. What surprised you the most and how did you adapt?
I must say what surprised me the most was that it wasn't that much of a culture shock as I would have expected.
Okay.
There are a lot of similarities between Switzerland and Singapore. They also say Singapore is the Switzerland of Asia. And
yes.
I really do think this is true. I can find everything I can find in Switzerland, but cheaper and better in Singapore with better weather. The shift was especially easy since there was no language barrier.
Right.
You could start immediately talking to locals. You could start connecting immediately. I think that helps a lot when moving here. And I've been always loving Asian food. So the food was no problem for me.
The food and the weather are the two biggest, the most significant differences,
yeah, and
right?
for me, that was just a huge upgrade. Mm. I hate the cold in Switzerland, and I'm probably the only person in Singapore that never complains about the weather. I genuinely...
Including Singaporeans.
The weather makes me genuinely so happy. I think when it comes to cultural differences, it's really the small things. I don't know why that comes to my mind, but it's taking your shoes off everywhere.
Yeah.
Going to the nail salon or to the hairdresser, you have to take off your shoes, which is very absurd in Switzerland. And even when I invite friends over to my house, we say shoes are part of the outfit. But here you would always take off your shoes.
Right.
And another small example would be opening presents. I was almost a bit disappointed when I gave a present to my friend and she would just tuck it into her bag and...
Not opening in front of you.
Okay, like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Is that, you were not even happy?
So ungrateful.
Yeah, no, that was, because in Switzerland, it's actually the opposite. You of open the present in front of a person to immediately thank the person and you can talk about the present. But here it's literally, just thanks very much. Okay.
Yeah, that's an Asian
thing. It's small
thing.
things. It's really small things.
So
which I find in the long run is not very hard to adapt.
So the big things weren't so big for you. It's the small things that you noticed. And I do notice that in your earlier Instagram and TikToks, it was identifying those small things. And there was a lot about the food. I knew you loved the food. You're a chicken rice queen, right?
Yeah, I But the first time I tried chicken rice, I was so fascinated. I wanted to try every single chicken rice in Singapore. And it's so interesting because when I try to explain my friends in Switzerland what this dish is about, they said, but it looks so bland. What is it, like chicken and rice? Like, come on. It's like, and I said, you don't understand.
No idea.
You don't understand if you have not tried. It's different.
So, your secret, which is your favorite so far?
Oh, I mean, there are many good ones. And it's always hard to say the best, but there's one coffee shop in Chinatown, 265 Northbridge Road, a very small corner coffee shop, $4.50. The soup is super flavorful. It's very good.
Okay. And I remember the wars in Maxwell, where Maxwell was the one to go, and then the chef left and set up on his own and started a divisive war, which has gone on to this day.
And I must say, Tian Tian, the Michelin bib rewarded, I don't think it's worth the queue. I think you can skip
agreed.
the queue.
Too expensive. Queue's not worth it, and the food's just
Agree.
okay. Yeah, we'll leave that one there. We'll probably get beaten up for that now. Expat life. I've been experiencing that for the last quarter of a century. It can feel isolating. How did you go about building your sense of belonging and your sense of community here in Singapore?
I must say I was surprised by how friendly and open locals were towards me and how easy it was for me to make friends with locals. In the beginning, everyone told me, oh, Marion, you're just going to stick in your expat bubble. And I do see where that comes from. It's very easy to connect with other expats as you shared a similar story. There's so much to talk about. And I knew that I did not want to fall into this expat bubble because as soon as I realized I want to make this my home for good, I realized I didn't want to make new friends every 2 years because expats come and go.
Yep.
So I don't know if this was conscious or unconscious, but I tried to foster the relationships with the local friends I've made. And my first really good friend here was a local girl, which I met in Pilates. I met her because it rained and we shared an umbrella. She invited me to her birthday party the next day.
Oh, wow.
And that was so easy to then make other connections. You always need that one starting point.
Yes, you do.
And if you are a bit outgoing and if you are, putting in effort, then I really don't think it's hard. But I think sometimes people think, no, I think the biggest mistake is just waiting for people to come to you in the beginning. You have to go out of your comfort zone. You have to text them. Maybe it's you the first 3 times who asks out for coffee.
Yep.
I never had issues with that. And that's why I feel like I didn't struggle much.
And when I first came to Singapore 17 years ago, perhaps a slightly different path, I believed that people didn't want to connect. But like you said, you have to step up. And over time, I've realized in their minds, you may be temporary. You may not be staying for long. So they won't make that first move. But if you make the first move and you share with them your story, very open, as you have found out. And
how would you say the percentage of locals versus expats in your friends group?
probably close to 50-50, but slightly favoring locals.
Interesting.
When I was first here, my first 6 years, it was the other way around, for sure. It was closer to 80% expats. Life was easier that way. As you said, I fell into that expat bubble. But we've come back now. My wife has become Singaporean. My children are Singaporean. They go to local school. So all of our interactions are with local people. So I maintain my old friendships, but my new friendships are inevitably local. So yeah, that's shifted.
And I really also want to give another shout out to Singaporeans. The amount of support and love I've received from locals that I do not know is incredible, and it leaves me speechless, has been leaving me speechless so many times. I just give you a quick example. When I just broke up with my boyfriend that was in Switzerland on New Year's evening, I had to fly back to Singapore 2 days later to pack my bags from our shared apartment. And I knew that I had to find something within 3 days. So I made a post online saying, guys, I'm looking for a new place in Singapore. If anyone knows something, please let me know. Any help appreciated. I received so many messages, strangers offering me their couch, their bedroom, sharing with me apartment tips, offering me their mom's place.
Wow.
People I've never met before. Oh my God, I really get goosebumps. I was not expecting so much help. 2 weeks ago, I was looking for someone to help me move. I was saying this is a paid opportunity. Like, I'm happy to pay someone. The amount of people offering me their free help to move my stuff, 20 people. No joke, without asking anything in return. I think that's incredible. I don't think this would happen in Switzerland.
Pure humanity.
Yeah, it's really,
I'm
really
used
nice.
to that. Where I come from, South Wales Valleys, everyone helps each other out. I find the neighbourhoods in Singapore are like that. But I used to live in the CBD area. Perhaps not then. People are living more insular lives around there. So now that I'm out into the hood, yeah, I agree with you. Very, very open, very warm, and very responsive. But you've got to ask, you've got to step up. They don't feel like they can just step in. They won't see and think, oh, you're struggling, and help, because they don't want to lose face by asking you and being refused. But if you ask, there's floods of offers coming in, which you've just found out. Okay, you've turned your social media into a viable business through all the sponsorships and product placements. How do you balance this authenticity we talked about with commercial partnerships, and what lessons stand out from that experience?
This is actually the biggest challenge I face as a content creator, the constant balance between not being just a sales platform and being true to myself and making authentic content. I have to make money at the end of the day, so there has to be sponsorships. And what I learned is, and what my biggest advice for any upcoming or aspiring content creator is, think in the long run. It might be interesting for a quick money grab when a company offers you a good amount for a video, but ask yourself, does this really fit my brand?
Yeah.
And what I had learned in this program very early on is you got to stick to your niche. If you're trying to make content for everyone, you're not making content for anyone at all.
Yeah.
So I told myself I was making a lot of food videos, lifestyle, but I wasn't never doing any fashion or beauty aesthetics content, like no makeup tutorials.
Okay.
And when a makeup brand reached out to me, I asked myself, are the followers currently interested in seeing this type of content? Probably not, because they follow me for a whole different reasons.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, if there's a very, very good, I always say once a month I'm gonna burn my followers for an advertisement, which was, a vacuum cleaner.
Right.
Of course, it's determined by the amount of money they pay. And if it's so good money, I know I can take this one job, I can post one video, and then I don't have to take on any sponsorships for 2 weeks. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
Yeah. It allows you to focus on your creative side more then.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's really finding this balance between taking on these partnerships. And even if it might doesn't fit your niche, do you still like the product? Would you actually buy it?
Yeah.
Because if that's a no, or if it's just a slight I would never do it. An aesthetic treatment I could still promote in good consciousness, because I would probably do it myself behind the camera. But let's say advertising for cigarettes or something, I would never do, even if the money was very good.
I get that. And I used to be sitting on the board of the National Theatre Wales. I don't mind calling it out now. My argument always then was to the creatives, if you want to have the freedom, the creative freedom to do all the things you want to do, you sometimes have to do things for commercial reasons to give you the money in order to have the creative freedom. And that's pretty much how you've just described that. That gives you that creative freedom to continue doing the things you want to do. And something you were saying as we were traveling here, you have a strategy around it. So it has to be fitted in to that strategy. But now and again, if someone says, there's 10K, can you say this is a wonderful vacuum cleaner? Yeah, I think I'll do that for 10K. Generally sticking true to your principles, right?
Yeah. No, fully agree.
So what gave you this confidence? You talked about nervousness earlier. What gave you this confidence to step from, let's say, a cocooned expat life into entrepreneurship? And what was the toughest part of that leap for you?
I really think it comes down to my love for Singapore. I came here and I fell in love, and I knew that this could be probably my happy place for a very, very long time. And the toughest part, obviously, was getting a visa and a work permit, because as soon as my ex left the country, my visa was gone. And I did not know how I could make it work to find an opportunity and a possible way to work legally here in Singapore. Ministry of Manpower is very strict. I incorporated my own company, which then sponsored me an employment pass. That was the plan. But even the company that helped me to set up my company and apply for my employment pass said, Marion, we don't know if this is going to work. I paid that company a lot of money and I had no idea whether or not this is going to work out. And I was running out of time and money. So there was a time after the breakup where I was crying myself to sleep almost every night. I had no clue whether or not I could stay here in Singapore or not. Every day there could have been a negative letter from Ministry of Manpower, and that would have meant my journey in Singapore would have ended over. And I had to leave against my will. And just the thought of this uncertainty for such a long period of time, I couldn't plan anything, you know. I was living in a shared apartment, which was not very nice, with not very nice flatmates. And I didn't know how my journey would continue, or if it would even continue. I think that was very hard. But every day there were some moments, and I was experiencing so many beautiful things that reminded me that it's worth fighting for this, and that there is hopefully going to be a happy ending to this story.
But if it failed, and let's say you had to leave, you had that dreaded letter that said you can no longer stay, you'd go back to Switzerland, what would you have gone back to?
I grew up very fortunate, and I'm very grateful for where I come from. I grew up in a beautiful house on Lake Zurich. When people see in my socials where I grew up, everyone says, "Oh, are you stupid? Why are you even coming to Singapore too?" My room is probably bigger than my apartment in Singapore. So I knew that I had a beautiful home to go back to. And
so there's my point. It's not that it was going to end your world. There was a good alternative, but your dream would have been shattered.
Of course, 100%.
This was the thing. It's not that you had this or nothing. You had this or a very nice alternative, but this, living in Singapore, being an entrepreneur, growing here, living here the long term, that was the dream.
Yeah.
So that was why the dread was there.
100%. I don't think I would have given up so fast. I think I would have tried again, even back from Switzerland. My biggest regret in life is not trying everything I could to make things work. And as long as there would have been one single last opportunity to still come back to Singapore, I would have still tried it.
You take it every time.
I would have tried, yeah.
So would you advise anybody else who has this dream in Singapore to try everything possible like you did? Or is that just something that you're made of?
I do believe hard work is paying off.
Right.
And what 𝐼𝐶 always says, the difference between people who succeed and people who don't succeed is not that the ones who succeed are better and smarter. They just don't give up that easily. And I also learned that I'm not spiritual and I'm not religious, but I truly believe everything happens for a reason. And if one door closes, another one opens. Being rejected 65 times from a job led me to start content creation. There were 65 doors that shut in front of my face, which was so painful. But looking back, this was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Just imagine you could have got a boring job instead.
I would never have started _𝐶𝐶 and �SG. Never.
Sure.
I would be sitting in an office tower with minus 15 degrees air conditioned. Okay, that's exaggerated, but...
Oh, it feels like that when you're sitting
like
in an office and you have no control. Every entrepreneur has moments of doubt. Can you share a moment of vulnerability, self-doubt, actually became a turning point then for your growth?
I mean, I was facing a lot of rejections. In the beginning, when I did not have as many followers, I was doing a lot of pitching to brands.
Right.
Meaning I reached out to them, would you like to work with me? I wrote 50 to 100 emails. I wouldn't even get replies as well. So that also sometimes was not that easy to keep on going, to keep posting. If your views are down on social media, still posting the next day it's not always easy. You're like very close for like just giving up, and I could just find a corporate job and have someone to just tell me what to do every day. I just knew from my past experience that not giving up and keep pushing through is gonna be rewarded. That kept me going, and I've been proven this to be right so many times, so that I keep reminding myself whenever I'm stuck at this moment, you know what, Marion? If it was easy, everyone else would do it.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you do what everyone else does, you get what everyone else gets. And I don't want to get what everyone else has.
I understand that you're now prepared to share that with other people. So how would someone contact you if they wanted to follow your example, learn from your experience, learn from your mistakes, etc.? There's no shortcuts, but get the best ways to work. How would they contact you? Marion?
They can drop me a DM on Instagram on 𝐿𝐶𝐬𝐵𝐻 anytime. I answer every single DM I get. I answer every single comment. There is also an email address on my Instagram. That's marion@𝐿𝐶𝐬𝐵𝐻.com. And I try to get back within less than 24 hours. And as mentioned, I offer one-on-one consulting,
Right.
where I teach everyone who wants to grow on social media, who feels stuck on their journey, to make their dreams happen.
And by social media, you're primarily on TikTok, Instagram, but I see you have a presence on LinkedIn as well.
TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I also do long-form YouTube videos.
Okay. I've not watched any of your long-form video. I need to.
Yeah, so my long-form YouTube is actually more towards expats who want to move to Singapore.
Got you.
So I cover topics like things to need to know before moving to Singapore, pros and cons about Singapore.
Okay.
And I've been starting to do a lot of street interviews, which have been very, very interesting.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And I was just going to ask you, if someone's listening is thinking of starting their own venture abroad, what's the single piece of advice or mindset shift you'd want them to take away, whether it's Singapore or anywhere?
If you want to start making a career on social media, you have to be prepared to be in for the long run. This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And for everyone who thinks, oh, I'm going to post some videos and I'm going to make a bunch of money without a lot of effort, I think this is very
It's not going to
wrong.
happen.
No, it's a long journey. And if you don't genuinely enjoy creating videos, this is nothing for you.
Gary Player, the South African golfer, famously said, the harder I practice, the luckier I get.
Yeah.
And there is that, right? And going back to your figure skating days, you talked about training 5-6 times a week. And we talk a lot on The Power Within about resilience. But some resilience comes just from good habits, doing something and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And that builds the resilience. Is that what gave you then that habit of training all the time? Is that what gave you your resilience, you think?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I really think even if you wake up one day and you don't feel like posting, do it anyway.
Right.
Nobody asked if you today feel like doing it.
Yes.
And consistency pays off, and consistency is such an important part of the journey. Make it your habit. In the morning, the first thing I usually do is put on my workout clothes. I get a stretch in or a workout. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it. Nobody cares if today I don't feel like doing it.
Well, and in your case, if you don't post, 140,000 people care.
Well, yeah, and the algorithm cares. And I know, do something today your future will thank you for.
Right.
And I think that mantra has also benefited me a lot.
Do something today that your future will thank you for. I love that. Finally, this podcast is about uncovering the inner strength that fuels transformation. You've definitely transformed. For you, what does your power within mean, and what's next for 𝐿𝐶𝐬𝐵𝐻 and 𝐿𝐶𝐬𝐵?
I think my journey the past 2 years taught me that from the past 2 years taught me that anything is possible and that the sky is the limit. As long as you are willing to work hard, just follow your dreams, and it's possible to make your dream come true.
So you made this dream come true, but what's next?
I always say, if you gave me $1 million tomorrow, what would you do tomorrow? And I would say I would do exactly what I do today. And I think my biggest dream is to be able to keep on making a living from what I do, exploring Singapore, working with brands. And my goal is to grow my social brand as much as I can. I have a lot of different projects I'm working on right now. This week, I've been working with CNA. I've been working with some TV production companies. So there's a lot of different things, and I see so many doors opening. I'm doing some hostings, and I would love to do more hostings. Public speaking I've started doing. So
Stretching and spreading your wings.
Yeah.
I was sitting watching TV with my children, and you popped up on children's TV. I can't even say what it was, but I went, oh, I know her.
Oh.
And I impressed my 10-year-old and 7-year-old daughters. So what was that? Some program, the children focused in Singapore on YouTube? a TV program that they were watching on YouTube?
That was probably Titan Academy. Yes.
See?
Okay. Yes, I had a guest role in Titan Academy, which
My
was
goodness.
super fun. Such a professional team, a real production.
I nearly spat my tea out when I saw you.
Yeah, I would love to get more into acting as well. There are so many things I would love to do.
How often do you get back to Switzerland now?
I try to get back twice a year for summer vacation and for Christmas.
Mummy comes here as well, I see.
My mom loves Singapore. She's been here 7 times. She's coming again in a month's time.
Does she love the food like you?
She loves everything. That's another reason why I think for me, I can handle staying so far away because I'm very, very close to my mom. Sometimes I say even too close. But if she wouldn't understand why I love it so much here, I think it would have been a lot harder. But she sees exactly. And she sees exactly why I'm so in love with Singapore. And she could move here tomorrow, she says.
So
maybe one day.
You better get your PR for your dependents pass now,
Yeah.
Don. All right, well, thank you for coming in, Marion. Really appreciate it. And it's crazy how busy you are these days. We've tried to get this date in the diary a few times. I'm busy, but you're busier. So thank you for making the time. Wish Swizzy and SG every success, and goodness knows where this journey is going to take you. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith, for having me. And I must say I'm very grateful for the connections we've made. You are such an inspiring person, and I'm super grateful that Singapore brought you into my life.
Ditto. Thanks for listening to The Power Within. I hope today's episode sparked something that helps you grow, lead, and create the success you deserve. If it did, share it with someone who'd value it. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. I'll be back with more stories of resilience and reinvention. Until then, stay strong, stay curious, and never stop believing in the power within.